Hey guys, good morning. Christina here, and I'm really excited to share with you what our garden looks like this month for the month of November because, as you can see from behind me, it looks different. There's snow, but it's also different because if I move this way, it is a lot bigger. So let's go check out this garden extension. First, a quick look up here though. The raspberries have been put away in the shed for the winter, and everything else that was growing here has been emptied or put away as well. So just the flowers, these beautiful mums, are left. So let's head down to the big garden. So here's the original garden, and this is where it ended. And this is all the new garden. So we have 9 new beds over here. The ground wasn't quite wide enough to put the fence all the way to put an additional 3 over here. But 9 beds is pretty big, and they do have soil in there and compost. You can't see anything with the snow on top, but it's there and it's ready to go for spring. I did continue to put dirt all the way around so I can continue putting the flowers, which are dying now, finally, all the way around the garden. So it's going to be really beautiful looking. So I'll give you a view from over here in this corner. Now, when I put the new beds down, I had intended to put them a little closer, because that's one thing with these is I wish we'd done them a little closer. But I realized after we started filling them that I did not do that. I should have put them closer so I could fit another row in. But by then it was too late. They were already filled. So, oh well. But still, like I said, 9 new beds, and we actually have 1 extra one over here, which we added, which I'll show you. I also went through and emptied these that had flowers in them. There were a couple perennial bulbs, which I just had, myself and my daughter just planted along the dirt here. The rest was all just annuals. I want to use this as vertical growing space next year. So what I'm thinking is like those kind of trellises that are like a fan shape, going up between each window there in these, and growing, I'm thinking a tomato plant in each to expand because we eat a lot of tomatoes and I want to can a lot of tomatoes. But we'll see, maybe I'll end up doing peas or cucumbers, I'm not sure. This is the first truly cold day we've had. You can see it's very frozen. You can see the water's frozen. So the other plan is that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beds in this middle part will have arch trellises, so that when you walk through this door, there's a whole way of arch trellises. I'm still working on finding something. Cattle panels are too wide. Our beds are only 3 feet. I know hog panels will fit, but they are expensive and a little bit difficult to transport. So that will probably have to wait till spring now, but that's the plan. And so I can use more vertical space. So instead of like, I had a whole thing of beans this year and another beans and a peas, that I can use those for growing vertically and use these beds for other things. So that's the plan for the year. So this is where we added a 3rd container. Now, I was trying not to block this door, but we just could not make it work with enough space to walk between. Originally, I wanted to put them this way, but it came all the way to the door of the greenhouse here. So what my husband helped me do is actually, he did most of the work for this one, is move that one right against the fence and then just put a little bit of space in between the two. If you saw a video recently where I planted garlic, this is all garlic under there. This is strawberries. I'm hoping they survive the cold. I'm still wondering if I should put some hay bales around them to keep them warm. We grew strawberries in raised beds in Alberta, but they were only 12 inches high. These are a little higher, or maybe they were only 8 inches. So I'm not sure how this is going to do. We shall see. We've still got our chives and what's that called? Rhubarb in there. These are like the perennial beds. That's where I want to keep all our perennial stuff. So I do want to add eventually asparagus over here as well. And then I started to move soil and ran out of time just before the snow came. So I just need to add a little bit more soil here in here so we can continue the flowers all the way along. Here's a view from this corner. You can see just how big it looks. We're hoping to add potatoes that we didn't get to grow this year, try onions again, a lot more onions. We need a lot more tomatoes. So this gardening extension is going to be very good. So let's go inside the greenhouse now. We did not get this taken care of before the snow came. You can tell it's warmer in here though. The water has not frozen in here. The temperature I looked, I think it's +2 it says. We're still figuring out how we're going to manage the snow load. I kind of have to figure out what we can do because it's quite heavy and it takes a lot to get it off. So still working on that part. So our plan in here is to move the beds into the middle, so these two together, and have a walking path around them on the outside for 2 reasons. One, it's taller in the middle, and so hopefully the tomatoes will have space to grow taller. I also will already have this bar I can tie things up with. When they were kind of like here, it's kind of hard to tie them up to anything. I'm also hoping that if we move them away from the windows a bit, when the windows are open, there'll be more airflow to help with that like mildew or mold kind of thing that we had. Originally, we wanted to put some stones first before we move the beds. However, given the cost of the soil and the compost prices are insane here, I think we're just going to have to put some soil down and move them. But we're waiting till it warms up a little bit in a few days for us to come out and do that. And then I'm going to plant a little bit different, just a little more strategically to try and give a lot of airflow to the plants. But yeah, we need to figure out what to do with the snow load because it is quite heavy in here. Now, if you watch the very first video where we set this up, I put this flag that I've had for years in the garden here, bloom where you're planted, and I feel like this year has been a great year for the garden, that we truly did make the most of what we have. I actually just picked up a new sign or a new flag I'm going to change it out with. I'll show that to you in a sec here. I felt that it was time to change the flag out, and I just love this Christmas, sweet Christmas one. It's going to give me a little bit of color when there's a lot of snow out here, and just fun for the season. Here's a look at it from here. It just gives an idea of just how big it is. So that's where it was this year, and this is where it will be next year. Very, very exciting. I feel like we had a really great year having this garden over here in our raised garden beds for the first year. I am just so grateful and so thankful that we were able to do this and that things grew compared to the previous year when pretty much nothing grew. You know, it's just been the last week, 2 weeks, I've taken the beets, the carrots, zucchini, the last of the tomatoes and peppers out. So they were producing well into October, which is just fantastic. Thanks so much for coming along with this tour, and if you've been here through the whole process this year, setting it up, growing, and now expanding it, thanks for watching. I always appreciate it when you do. I hope that this finds you having a great day, and let's chat in those comments below. Take care.